Good evening to every one of you. I am Pralisha Maimi on behalf of the Premier Educare Institute. At Premier Educare Institute, we pride ourselves on delivering invaluable sessions to our students, led by a team of highly educated professionals. Our commitment to excellence ensures that every learning experience is enriching and rewarding. Welcome to Premier Educare Institute, where knowledge meets expertise. We are pleased to have offered you a series of important sessions thus far. We take pride in sharing that over the years, our students have consistently provided positive feedback about our sessions. Rest assured, we are committed to maintaining this high standard of quality in the future as well. In the journey of becoming a smart researcher, Premier Educare Institute has brought you a free workshop, which is conducted for qualitative and mixed researchers. This workshop will be conducted under member supportive programs by an eminent qualitative expert, Dr. Sanat Divakara. Dr. Sanat Divakara is a mechanical engineer by profession. He earned a Doctor of Business Administration degree in entrepreneurship and small business from the University of Kelaniya. He earned his Master in Engineering in Energy Technology and his bachelor's degree and diploma in technology from the University of Moratuwa. He completed a Master of Business Administration in Finance and Business Accounts from the University of Manipal, India. With over 25 years of experience in manufacturing, including senior managerial roles at Lanka Volatile and Mascon Mesh Industries, he has won numerous awards and is a consultant on productivity, quality, human resources, engineering, maintenance, supply chain, marketing, and energy management. Dr. Divakara is a visiting lecturer, research supervisor, examiner, curriculum developer, and a chief editor at many state and private universities and institutes in Sri Lanka. He has published more than 30 research papers in international and local journals and conferences covering many disciplines such as entrepreneurship, corporate entrepreneurship, green supply chain management, and project management, research methods, and etc. He is the General Secretary of the Institute of Supply and Material Management and Vice President of the Alumni Association of the Doctor of Business Administration at Kelaniya University. He is a member of the Institute of Engineers and the Sustainable Energy Authority in Sri Lanka. I take this as an opportunity to thank Dr. Divakara for accepting our invitation to conduct this program. To further elaborate about this valuable program, I now invite Dr. Engineer Priyantha Morapitiya. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome to the most important session conducted by the Premier Education Institute under the member supportive programs. Today we have a very special person, that is the qualitative expert, Dr. Sanat Divakara. I think that Miss Mayumi explained about Dr. Sanat some of the credentials. Okay, so here with us you have one of the most practical person in the qualitative research types. Okay, so first, before starting, I will give you very brief about the program. Right, the Dr. Sanat will be the key speaker today. He will give you the maximum. Right, okay, as you know, right, the research strategy under the research paradigms, you have basically three. Basically, qualitative research. Qualitative research means is simply in the layman's language, that is non-quantitative types. That means no numbers, right? No numbers. Basically, it is coming under the textual analysis, right? And then quantitative means in simply quantifiable, that means including numbers, and that will be analyzed by using the statistical techniques, statistical analysis. So remember the difference between two. The qualitative means the analysis done by almost textual. That will be comprehensively explained by Dr. Sanat in due course. And the quantitative means the statistical techniques, right? So in between you have mixed. I'm sure that most of you have mixed, right? So this is a very, very important webinar, because normally in Sri Lanka, as far as I know, the experts for the qualitative research are very rare. So we have one of the most important person with you at this time. Okay. So if I go to another slides giving some more information about the quantitative and the qualitative. Okay. So now, right, locally or internationally, there are so many unproved, unlogical myths about the qualitative and the quantitative. Right. What is better? Which is superlative? Qualitative or quantitative? Right. So no, you can't say that the qualitative is better than quantitative, or you can't say quantitative is better than qualitative. There's a no. Right. That entirely depends on your research question, whether you have to go for the qualitative, or whether you have to go for the quantitative is entirely decided by your research question. So remember that point very clearly. Okay. And so the quantitative research means basically theory testing. For example, if you want to test some relationship between two factors, then you have to go for the quantitative research. For example, smoking causes cancers, right? That's a hypothesis. So in any case where you are coming across the hypothesis, you have to go for the quantitative. That is theory testing. And remember, quantitative means you are investigating wider and wider, right? The sole objective of doing quantitative is to generalize. So you have the big samples, right? But when you are doing the qualitative, the goal is different. That means you are investigating deeper and deeper in depth. So the sample sizes are very small. So no generalizing. So remember the objective of doing quantitative and the objective of doing qualitative. Okay. So when you want to develop new theory, you have to go for the qualitative type research. Now I cordially invite Dr. Sanat Divakar to take over this rich audience. Dr. Sanat, please.
Yes, I hope that you all can hear me. I'm audible to you. And first, I should thank Dr. Priyanta Morapitia and Miss Mayumi from Premier Education, giving me the opportunity to share some knowledge with you all on qualitative research. Actually, we are talking about qualitative approach, right? So this is actually when you take 100 researchers, you find a very small number, actually around less than 5%. If you do analysis, you will see reluctant to use this approach. Some myths are there, I should say that, and I will debunk those myths while sharing you the knowledge. So because of that, and some says this is take long time. Likewise, some of the things are there. So anyway, what we are trying here, we are trying here to give you some sort of basic knowledge, and remove those barriers. Why most of the students, when you get research in your degree or your master's degree, whatever you do in your educations, most of the time I have observed, this is observation, right? Reluctant to select the research component. There are a lot of reasons for not willing to get this research component, right? Not only the reason that I give you, there are many reasons. Most of the students, they reluctant reluctant because they need a very quick, very quick approach, and then very quick and very simple. That's what they want. But when you do a research, what are the benefits that you get? Now there's a increase in doing research. If you go through the some of the conference, some of the publications, you can see there's a huge increase in doing research. That's not because of the interest in the sense some influences coming from some of the universities in other countries, why most of the students, most of the younger crowd, they are trying to go out. Our brain drain problem is there. So most of the students, they want to do their higher studies in some other country, some other university, and because of that, they want a publication. That's another reason, right? They are expecting a publications, those universities. In our system, we lack in that, and we reluctant to publish, reluctant to do a research because of some of the myths we have, right? And that's why I thought we should share you some knowledge on research because this is not a so difficult thing as you expect, right? So this is very kind of simple. If I tell you why, if you go through the definition of the research, you will see the definition says that's a systematic approach, right? Now, why you want a systematic approach? More you need systematic approach when the system is complex, right? When the system becomes complex. Now, let's say take your organization. The organization is in a smaller level. We have a small, medium, large, likewise. I will use some of the practical examples where you can understand, right? So we also from practitioners, we also from the industry. We try to understand the practice, right? That is the one came first, not the theory. Theory came after. So we are trying to come through the practice. So I will use some of the things. So the practical things, though the small, medium, and large. So when these organizations become large, then the system become complex, right? So then we are seeing some systems there. So what is system? System is there. The system is a process, defined process. So we are trying to practice the system. There are procedures, policies, rules, and all those things in the system. So and given steps clearly defined, so we will be using all those steps. Then finally we achieve the goals. What the objectives we need, we can achieve it. So the research definition, it says this is scientific, systematic. If you go through those keywords in the research definitions, you will see this is not a so difficult thing. But when you advanced research, advanced in the sense you want to study more about there, inside you find philosophy. So that is the most important thing. Graduate and postgraduate, most of the time we try to give you some sort of systematic process, and finally we test whether you have grabbed the philosophy from this research, right? So we are trying to embed you the philosophy. So that's why we use this systematic process. When you understand the importance of research, you will read more and get more knowledge about research philosophy, right? That is the most important thing. In research, you find a philosophy. So I'm not going to touch on that area today, but the qualitative research comes from the basically that's evolved from this philosophy. So without talking the philosophical part, it is a bit difficult you to explain the qualitative research, but we'll try. We start somehow to get knowledge about uh, qualitative research and whether you can apply this approach in your research component. Another thing I need to tell you, the selection of qualitative students most of the time a bit reluctant, think that this is difficult, this is long time taken uh, process. But if you go through some of the publications, you will see some of the students who get marks comparing the qualitative and quantitative. Most of the time, with my experience, I have seen qualitative research, they got somewhat highest marks, right? So that's something what I observe. But this is not easy. As Dr. Priyanka said, this is not uh, this is not the one you need, and quantitative, qualitative, everything you need. That depends on your problem, right? That is the most important thing. When you start your research, we can't say you do qualitative, you do quantitative. Most of the time, that depends on your problem and the available literature, right? That's why we ask the students go through and see whether you can find literature. As example, the COVID period. If you want to do a research, then what type of research approach that you are going to select? Uh, how do you decide that? Do you decide it as per your supervisor? No, you have to study the ground. You have to study whether the adequate literature is available. So all those factors depends, and that's how you could have used the approach, right? How we are going to process this research. So in session, what I thought to touch about qualitative research approach, something we should start from the area. How we can start, how we decide whether to select qualitative or quantitative or mixed method, right? So this is one of the area I'm going to touch in this, and strategies of qualitative research. Once you select the approach, qualitative approach, then again you have some of the strategies to use. That's also depending on your problem. You have to select the correct uh, path, correct strategy, right? Let's say you want to develop a theory, then there's a special approach strategy. Likewise, there are a lot of strategies you can get some knowledge. Basically, we used to explain 5 strategies, but you can select. That depends on some of the books. If you go through some of the books, you will see many types of strategies in that. So qualitative research design, then you come to design after the literature review, you will come to the chapter 3, methodology. Then methodology, first you explain about the philosophy, then second your research design, how you select what kind of research design should be selected in that. Then data collection and analysis. One of the important thing here, the data collection, and that also we'll discuss. Then how you are going to do the analysis and methods of using doing the analysis. Then this part I just include by I haven't seen this part in some of the books as well. Developing models with qualitative research, right? So, what would be the end of the research that you are going to get the newness? What kind of new knowledge that you are going to get in this, and what would be the objective of doing now using all the research, all the qualitative research? We are not going to build theory, right? So when you want to build theory, then you should have used uh, some of the strategies. Then with that you can build a theory. But all the research that is this is where we have got some confusion. This should be one of the objective of doing research, right? Qualitative research. So at the final stage, what you are going to get in this. So you can analyze your data, and you can get some outcome for those for the questions, research questions, and finally what will happen to it, and what you are going to say. Now when you use quantitative research, quantitative approach, then you are trying to interpret your findings, hypothesis. But in research, qualitative research, what you are going to uh, show at the end. So what kind of finding, what kind of outcome will be there, right? This is one of the very important thing. So that's why I included this, and even in my research, the students who do research with me, I emphasize them. You have to come up with this. Then this could be your model, right? This is your model. So you develop model with your research experience, with your research knowledge, and you enhance your knowledge, and this model can be used. If you want later test this model, that's also possible following mixed method or another quantitative research. But in difference between the model and the conceptual that also should be understand very clearly. And finally, it is important to have the ethical consideration in qualitative research, because you are dealing with people, you are handling some interviews, you are meeting, and you are observing their behaviors, uh, you are taking photographs, so you are explaining about their behaviors. Let's say example, there's an area, uh, hate speech, right? Some of the people, they do they do some of the analysis of the story, the speeches, the politicians. So and with that, the analysis will say what he is going to what the own ideas, right? You know, sometimes the particular politicians can change the political party. So that is visible. Some of the speeches, what they do, usually sometimes you can see now he is going to change this, right? So this what we see at the last moment, but when you go through the series of speech, uh, they uh, they did. So you can see the patterns in that, right? This is called. There are a lot of organizations, they are doing this, research organizations. So with that, they identify how they are behaviors, right? So we are not particular about that, but there are people particular about that. So for that purpose, some of the researchers they are right, not the academics, but some of people are there. So then can see the various patterns, and with that you can identify uh, the uh, the behaviors of the people, right? So you need to be very careful on ethical consideration in research. This is one of the most important area. You have to do everything with the ethical framework, and you should not damage the other people's uh, their personalities, their lives. So we should not do those things. So we should be do very careful manner this research, especially qualitative research. So that is why the ethical consideration we call in research paradigm we call it axiology. So you should be very careful on that, right? So those are the areas that we are going to discuss today, and I'll be conducting this session mostly in English language, but if you want to ask questions, since we all are in Sri Lankan, and I hope that there are some of the students from joining from out overseas. So because to be general to understand everyone, I'll conduct this in this language. But if you want ask in singular language, you can ask questions. No issue on that. So I will just switch off the camera. Why I can't see the slides. So then when it comes to research, we talk about this, what the Umar Sekaran said, organized, systematic, database, critical, objective, scientific. So everything you find in this. So I'm interested on the systematic, right? Why we use systematic in research? When you do systematic process, when you follow systematic process, you will not do any mistakes, right? That is the most important thing for me as industrialist. So why we use systems? Why we use management systems? Where we will not do any mistakes, right? The steps very clearly mentioned. So you have to do this, you have to do this. Now, in research, you have to do first, you have to identify your problem, then you have to uh, identify first your problem, then you identify, then you justify, then you set objectives, then you make your questions, right? That is the process that you are uh, converting the problem into research, right? Your problem is a broader one. That's the problem will not get a solution, right? Most of the time, problem is the broader one, but when you come it to when you narrow it down to question you have answers. So problems you will find causes. So this is the difference, and the steps are there clearly mentioned. Then you do literature review. Then you go to chapter 3 and identify the research design. Then you chapter 4 is very clear. The analysis. Chapter 5 you are come to conclusion. This is very clear, right? So step by step you can continue, but when you get the knowledge of this, when you go through this process, what happens, your mindset will change, right? So now recently I experienced some of the organizations, they recruit undergraduates, those who get research published research papers, right? They are looking because finding quality people is a problem in Sri Lanka now, right? Why some of them has gone out, and we need to screen once you publish ad vacancy, then you get 200 300 applications, and a screening finally you will get 10, and out of 10 also it's very difficult to select one. So organizations are trying to find a new system of recruiting candidates, employees to the organizations. So now they recently start to see whether they get the candidates get a published document or research paper. Similar, the other other universities also now they are looking, they are asking our students come up with the published document. So most of the students now they want to publish their research, right? This is what we ask all the time the students. Then you get some sort of research mindsets what we expect as uh, your research philosophy, because you understand a little about the research philosophy once you complete this research. When it comes to qualitative research, that involves finding out what people think and how they feel, or at any rate what they say, they think, how they say. So those are the things we looked: what, why, and how, right? So in qualitative, we analyze the words. In quantitative, we analyze numbers. But in uh, no numbers, no improvement. Like that's also we used to tell. But in this, we are trying to analyze words. So we are trying to see, analyze the words and see what type of behavior you get in your social life or in your business behaviors. So likewise, this is what we do. And basically, the three questions we used to ask: what, why, and how. So we are trying to see your behaviors, your feelings, your what you talk about. So that is what in this we are going to do the analysis, and we are looking around to develop some new things. And time to time, the environment will change. Now you find the economic crisis in our country, and some of the practices what we used in previous time before 2020 now is not that. The environment every time change, and the organizations they are trying, they are struggling, right? So a lot of issues you find in this environment. Outside the environment you find a lot of issues, a lot of problems. We call it problems, right? So you when you get a problem, what the question you ask: why it happens, right? So this is how you develop your conceptual framework. So once you identify your problem, you ask why. Then if you ask 5 times why, you find 5 times causes, right? So likewise, you can start developing your conceptual frame, but when doing research, you can't use that way. You need to justify. You have to have supportive literature, and that's how finally you come to the that sort of conceptual frame. But in qualitative, you can't do that. You need to ask what, why, and how, right? All three questions you have to ask, and then only you will get some sort of idea about your research. So there's no limit here, right? So the limit you have to decide. Your literature review will give you the limits, and that's how you can decide your limit, and you should select it according to your time and your capabilities and all those things. So quantitative research tends to get hypothesis, and the some of the examine the perception, actions, or feeling. You also do some interviews. So most of the students now use the Google form and send your questionnaire to the respondent and get informations. But I prefer to have it, if possible, you meet the respondent and at least one or two. Now, as per your quantitative requirement, you need around 150, 200, depends on your population. But if find time, try to meet one or two members and get some observe their feelings, their how they behave when you ask, because you don't know how they feel your questions. So you will get numbers, and the numbers can analyze. But you have some experience to be collect throughout the research. But that experience you will get in qualitative 100%, right? And debunk myths in qualitative research. So all these things I have given, some of the things I will explain with the time constraints. And quantitative statistical summary and define large samples you need, reliability and validity can be established, and we call it deductive. So you use theory, and from the theory, and you come through the hypothesis and test in the theory, right? In qualitative, what you can do, you don't want big samples, you can have small samples, but there's a process to justify that sample, right? So as you want, you can't select, but there is a process that's also you need to justify the process, how you select the samples, and describe reliability procedures and sources to be established, because this research is mostly based on trust. You have to follow your uh, ethical considerations, and you have to build trust, and you have to have good relationship. As you want, the people will not give you interviews, or they will not respond, right? So you can't ask what, why, and how questions with the people. uh, let's say you want to collect data, and you meet a person and ask these three questions, right? And trying to get some responses. It will never happen, right? There is a protocol. You need to follow the protocol. In interview also, you find some sort of protocol. You have to develop a relationship. Likewise, those are the most important thing when coming to data collections. I will come to that point later. So in qualitative research, we do not test hypotheses or previous theories here, but some of the says the theory is not involved in qualitative, but there is theory, right? Without theory, you can't do anything. All whatever behavior you observe, you find a theory, right? Only thing you need to update about the theory, and theories are updating very fast. So the most important thing, most of the managers I have heard, they say this is a economic crisis, and theories what you find will not applicable to this situation, right? That kind of things you must have heard. You find theory there in qualitative also. You can see theory. Theory is involved in this, but we are not going to test hypothesis in this. Yes, Rishan, someone has raised hand. We'll have a session. I will give you time to ask questions, right? First, we'll finish this part. So just wait. Okay. Then the generalizing issue here, we are not able to generalize this as quantitative. So in qualitative research, you can't generalize, and quantitative research, the findings you are going to generalize, and that you have to know. The objective of doing quantitative research is to generalize your findings, right? You can say that this is already tested, but in qualitative research, we are not going to generalize the findings. And we use the data, we collect data, we can collect data using newspapers, books, videos, the records, or published documents, whatever mode you can select. And photographs also now used, and with some of the latest tools, softwares, you can analyze the photographs as well. And we need photographs because in qualitative research, you are the researcher, so but you should eliminate the biasness, right? Now, when you because in quantitative research you eliminate biasness using statistical testing, and then you will get a process, you will follow a process, and finally you get the findings. But in qualitative research, you don't have that kind of testing process. You have some of the softwares you can use, but still the software will not do any analysis, right? So a valid analysis you can't get from the software. So researcher, you are the researcher. You should prove, you should show your knowledge contribution will be the most important thing in qualitative research. So whatever you do, so you, let's say you interview a person, you visit somewhere to observe the environment, you take some photographs, you, even when you do interview, you can take photographs, and in your viva or in your research you can show those photographs, so that will show some of the evidence that you have engaged in this. So, right, how do we know that you have engaged? You what sort of interview you have done? Who are the people? So you have to prove it. You have to show it, right? So that's why we are trying to get a lot of evidence, a lot of photographs, a lot of statements, and different way you can do this collection data. And this is the most important. So wider range you have, and you can use a small quantity, small number of people, but there is a process you have to justify it, very scientific justification you have to give when you select your samples. That those are the some of the important things here. We will go to step by step. And finally, the model development. I have given some of the uh, examples at the end, right? So some of the developed model, and even in my research, I developed a model, so I now understand the importance of that model, because that is my business model, right? So what I used in most of the businesses, I can go through and find, because I have done it very politely, very ethically. So the knowledge outcome was very prominent in that. So I have now I have tested the in practical situation this model. So that's the most thing. That's why I emphasize most of the students, those who uh, do research with me, especially the qualitative. But when I get 20, only one or two select qualitative. That's also very rare. However, hope that it will increase after, at least after this session. So that's why I was happy to share some of the key informations in this, and to eliminate those restrictions that you have in your minds. So doing qualitative research, right? And strengths, depth of understanding, flexibility. Flexibility you find, and you should go in depth, right? Sometimes you have to read a lot of books, because most important thing is the methodology. So in my approach, I ask a student, first you study about methodology, because there is a core part or area where you get the philosophy in research, right? You need literature review, you need problem identification, everything you need. The core part, even you face your viva, you will get a lot of questions from the methodology, right? So you are the expert with your research, your subject area. We are not expert on that. We are expert from methodology. We are trying to get knowledge on methodology, because there's no we can't say that we are the expert, but we know something more than you, right? I can say in that way. Why? When you go through some of the books, it says uh, uh, a methodology. You have to use. You have no the methodology. It's only a methodology, right? It's developing continuously. There's a continuous development. So some of the researchers use the methodology. If you go back 10 years, then you will see the methodology, what they explain and what they explain now. There's a big difference. So different types of methodology you find. So now I explain you some of the methodology, but you will see if you go through another session, then you will find again different types. So try to understand the methodology in a better way, and the qualitative research you have to go through in depth and get the information from in that level. So weaknesses, this is subjectivity, and some of the suggestives are not definitive, and limited generalizability, and those are the where you get the weaknesses. But the in-depth analysis is the most important things. So in this, I selected one example from scientific way, right? So in science, you can think on these nails, why these nails are getting corroded, right? So basically, it can be when you contaminate with water, salt, air, likewise, a lot of parameters. Now, when you get the problem, why these nails get corrode, that is the problem you find, right? Let's say, then you ask why. And if you know the answer to this, then you know the causes. This is causality, right? You know causes. It corrode with water, oxygen, or salt. Likewise, different things. Where you can find this, if you want to see the exact one, right? When you find the problem, why this is the problem. What you see, right? We call it effect. So effect is the one you see, right? And then you are searching some of the causes, why that's happening. Then in quantitative, what you do? Quantitative, you can get it going through the literature, right? The literature will give you the causes, what you want, what you search. So this will be the effect, and you are getting the causes this way. In quantitative, right? So in that way, now the problem is okay. But let's say you don't know it. You don't know why this is happening. Then you have to you have to select some other method, right? In literature, you find nothing. You don't know what causes are there. In literature, you went through literature, but you didn't see anything to find as causes. Then you have to select another approach, right? So you have to select some of the samples, and you can keep it out and observe, and you keep it in the water and observe. Likewise, you have to do experiment in that, right? So different experiment you have to do and observe. What are the causes, possible causes? You have to observe and write notes, and then see the patterns, and then develop hypothesis. You can develop hypothesis, or we call it uh, 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 there's another word. I will give it to you later. And then finally you come to a conclusion, right? So so this is how the inductive thinking. Inductive thinking, there's very good name in Sinhala. inductive and deductive, udgami, nigami, right? So then inductive thinking, you observe about the you do some experiments and you observe the patterns, and first you observe, you interview persons, and then take notes and convert it to transcripts, and the transcripts you will go through one by one, the words you go through one by one and see patterns, what sort of patterns and different types of pattern developments available, right? We'll discuss later. Then you developed, out of that, you can develop theory or you can develop a model finally. Theory developing is somewhat you have to follow very precise exercise in that. But easily you can develop a model, right? This is the final objective of the qualitative. So you should focus on that, right? Then that would be your final outcome. This is what you are going to show as your outcome. So this is called inductive thinking. And you can see whether you are qualitative, we are more focused, because that's also another study, right? So different people. Now, if let's say you don't know anything about research, but we will ask you, what do you like, qualitative or quantitative, right? So that's also depend on your thinking pattern, your behaviors, your analytical powers, your cognitive power is most important. So we can do this small exercise, connect all 9 dots with 4 straight unbroken line. With that, you can see whether you are divergent or convergent. So divergent means you are inductive thinking, you are thinking in a broader way. Your thinking pattern is not in a converge, it's in a broader way. You want more details and you want uh, think all about. You are not pointing into one particular area, right? So you can do this exercise. If you know this, then no point, but you have to know about yourself, right? Because you should tolerate. There are some sort of situations that you should tolerate when you do qualitative research, right? And when I was doing I had to go everywhere in the country. One sample was in Abepus, another sample was in Kalutara. Likewise, it's a very hectic job, right? So you have to tolerate and you have to transcript, you have to analyze a lot of things, but very interesting for me, but it would not be for you, right? That's why you have to see whether you are a convergent or divergent. That's one of the key area you to select before thinking. You select that. If not, you will be in a trouble at uh, the middle of the path, right? So most of the time, first you think about that, whether you are divergent or convergent, so that your behavior also one of the important thing in this. Anyway, let's say you selected the qualitative, then this is one of the sample I included there, you to get some understanding. The problem. First, the problem: frequent and long delays may translate into much frustration among airline passengers, to switching behavior and to negative word of mouth communication. These feelings and behavior eventually have negative effects on the performance and the profitability of the firm. So with that, you can select your objectives in this way, and your questions you can prepare in this way using 3 questions. Basically, keep this in your mind, right? The 3 questions. This is a very important thing. you have to uh, keep these three questions with you, right? So this is the basics, very important thing. Even when you develop your model, that's also there also you get this the questions using these three questions: what, how, and why. You will be able to develop your model in because when you do qualitative research, they are in this is in quantitative as well, but qualitative somewhat you find connectivity, right, between the uh, chapters. There should be connections. Like now, most of the time, I have observed students, they start chapter 1, chapter 2, because chapter 1 you find your questions, research questions. Right now, the problem is the broader one, bigger one, and you convert the problem into questions. Right, this is the narrow downing process that you follow in your research. And then then what you do, you will do your literature review. After chapter 1, what you do your literature review. Then you forgot all the questions what you developed, right? These you are trying to find solutions to these questions. So when you get solutions to these questions, you achieve your objective, and uh, that's how you can achieve. Then you can see your problem. You have found some sort of solutions to the problem, right? So once you do your literature review, most of the time student forgot about these research questions. Then they straight away they start they do their methodology, and they go to analysis. Now they don't know what they are going to do in the analysis, right? uh, Again, you have to connect it. So you have to select your research problem in your analysis and continue the analysis. That's how the connectivity comes there. So most of the time we can see the students, they have no idea how this flow. This is what we call the flow, the rigor in the research. So you have to maintain these requirements in research. So you have to connect, and once you define, once you identify your research questions, then you can get it at the analysis and start doing analysis and find required solutions to these questions. Then another area I should explain this. When you do your qualitative research, your literature review should be somewhat robust one. So in this, what we do, we conduct critical literature review or systematic literature review to identify the gaps. So why we do this critical literature review or systematic literature review? There are different thoughts in doing this literature review, critical literature review or systematic literature review. In qualitative, this is I should explain why this is important, where you can identify your boundaries. So this is one of the most important thing in identify your boundaries, right? You don't know. Now, when you do a quantitative approach, there you have a boundary. You have already conceptualized. Your conceptual is already identified, done. So you are going to test it. That is where you are going to do your research. In qualitative, you have no this kind of specific bound specific area, right? So that you need to define, developed. So the literature review is one of the most important thing. Most means you need this in research. Without literature, you can't do your research. But if you can if you can do a critical literature review or systematic literature review, then there you will get some sort of boundary identification, justification, gap findings, your theoretical gap, literature gap. You can identify from that in this way, right? So now here you can see the gap and the trends and everything you will get in this. This is of literature review what I have done. Systematic literature review. So different way you can do the systematic literature review. You can use the Prisma model. Likewise, different types of methods are there, right? So if you want to do what I can suggest you, just find a systematic literature review. You could, there you have a process called benchmarking. So find go through the literature and find suitable literature review conducted, and go through the methods how they have conduct this literature review, and you can follow the same process. So uh, uh, most of the time we use this benchmarking process when you want to publish documents. That is one area, but even the literature review also you can do this kind of benchmarking. So following why different models, different methods are available doing systematic literature review, right? So with that, you will get clear boundary, clear area where you want to study, what you want to study, and all those things you will get in doing this kind of literature review in qualitative. But this is not only suitable thing for qualitative, but you can use this in quantitative as well. That you have to right. So there are different types of thoughts and different ideas in this field. You once you do systematic literature review, then you will get some sort of limiting your scope. Likewise, different thoughts you find that you have to decide, right? Because qualitative research, there's different views. You have more freedom there. In qualitative research, you have more freedom. You are the researcher, so you have to justify. The justification is the most important thing. And in this justification process, we used different types of things, different types of method, triangulation. Likewise, different justification methods are there. So everything you have to justify going through some of the references or some of the publications. That is the most important thing, because you are researcher, but you are not in position to because your ideas will not get as prominent in this. So you are researcher, so you have to justify with others' findings. That's how you will align your process, your research process, your research journey. So those guidance all the time you have to find. You have to read a lot of articles, books, especially uh, when conducting your methodology. You need to read a lot of books. There are a lot of books written on psychological factors and how the research can be conducted, what sort of a strategy, methodology is available, and the justifications. Most of the justifications, especially in methodology, you can get from books. Literature you can get from published papers, because the literature should be the latest one, recent years. publications. So that sort of justifications will guide you throughout the this journey. So that is one of the area. And I just explain this process using the research paradigm, the what is reality, that is the part of the starting, where you start your research, the problem, how you find the reality, and then what and how can I know reality, the knowledge area, epistemology. If you can't understand, don't worry about these things, but the other areas you can understand, identify. Then theoretical perspectives, what approach can I use to get knowledge? So you need to find available theories. Without theory, you are not in position. Even though you use your do your research, you will there will be a theory, right? Methodology and what procedure can be used to acquire knowledge, and methods, what tool can be used to acquire knowledge, and sources, what data can we collect. So every steps you have to justify. So that's the important thing in this. Whatever steps you take in this qualitative research, you have to justify with adequate support, literature support, or some of the previous researchers support is very important. Then when it comes to methodology, this type of research we call exploratory research. In quantitative, we call explanatory. This is exploratory research. We are going to explore the things, explore the answers to what, why, and how, rather than just predicting the results in research, and it may share certain features with the research. So we are going to explore knowledge using what, why, and how. So this is the exploratory research we call in qualitative. So when it comes to research design, in research design, you find explanatory, exploratory, and descriptive. Those types of research designs you can have. So in this, we will use this exploratory types, and some of the descriptive as well I have seen. And then you have to select what strategy, right? Now, you can understand where you start. You start your problem. I explain it by using the nail. Then you could not find relevant literature in there and justifications. Then you thought of because you have to take decision to select qualitative. Why? You don't have enough sufficient justification literature. And then now how you process this in now again you have to see what sort of study that you are going to use. In that, here you find 5 strategies: narrative research, phenomenological research, grounded theory research, ethnography research, case study research, right? This structure refers to Creswell and Forth 2018, the book. You can see this is uh, uh, somewhat the Creswell explained. But if you go through another book, you will if you go through, and there you will find the same type. These types also will be there, but in addition to that, you will find some other strategies as well. But basically, you can satisfy with this. Where you use the narratives. Narrative means that's a story of individual experience. If you let's say you are going to do your research based on a person, you want to study a particular entrepreneur, a prominent businessman. You are going to get his experience and tell the story, right? So If so, then you can select narrative. Likewise, all the others, phenomenology, we call kind of appearing and disappearing. Now, COVID-19 you got, but now it's not available. Tsunami you got, that's now not available, right? Now, if you do COVID, uh, uh, if you want to do research on COVID now, sometimes because it will not applicable, right? You are not getting the people. They forgot about the COVID. They don't know about tsunami, but still you want to do. Then uh, yes.
Dr. Sanad, can we have a 10 or 15 minutes break at 8:15? I am Dr. Morapiti here.
Okay. Yes, Doctor Ken.
Okay, please.
What time you? 10,
8,
15,
8:15. Yes, please.
All right, fine.
Okay.
We'll do.
Okay.
We'll do. Okay. Then the phenomenology is that sort of things you can use. Grounded theory is the one that if you want to develop theory, you can use, because you have to study all these things in depth, right? So different ways the books given you to process. If you want to study, uh, if you want to conduct a research on storytelling, then you select narrative research, and you need to get the knowledge how the narrative research can be done. A lot of publications are there, a lot of books given informations to do the way a narrative research. Likewise, different types of research you get in this research strategy. This is called. Then the ethnography is about the ethnic groups or environment, culture of groups. If you want to study, then you have to select this method. Then case study is the most popular one. Most of the time we select this case study because we can apply this into many areas, or you can connect case study narratives as well, right? So you can select a case and can do a narrative study. That kind of possibilities are available, and a case study provides an in-depth understanding of a case. You can select if you want to study about your organization. Now there are some sort of research we do, like it's a kind of capstone in small mini research in diploma level. So that type of study we propose to use this case study, and even the multiple case studies, single case study, multiple case study, that's available even in any type of research you can use. But basically, when doing a research using your organization, I don't think that it can be generalized, right? So you have to use because that's applicable only for that organization, because the problem can be something related to that organization. We can't say that all the organization you find this kind of problem, right? So that's what, because of that, we propose to do case study, especially in capstone projects, because that focus. There are differences between projects and the research, right? So most of the time, these confusions you find. Okay, we can have a break. Right, we can continue. I should. There's a one important thing here. I told you that there's another name in this. So actually, I forgot. Not forgot. Actually, the name was, instead of this hypothesis, it should be propositions, right? So it's also a similar word that used in qualitative research. the propositions we used as when you to say something similar to hypothesis, we used qualitative. Qualitative, we are not using this hypothesis, but most of the time, if you want to use this kind of similar to hypothesis, if you want to use, then you can use propositions. So actually, at that time, I didn't get the real name, so that's I need to update you. So we were talking about these strategies because, as I explained you after the problem at the very beginning, and we select the approach, qualitative or quantitative, then you select quantitative. You can go through the Saunders research onion. In that, you will get all these layers in the research onion. So in that, you select your approach, and then you need to do another analysis in the sense kind of observation about your area, what you are going to do. As I said, if you want to do, because you don't know about tsunami, but you need to do a study on that, then definitely it's a phenomenological research. And let's say you want to develop a theory, then you have to select the grounded theory. Then that process, there's another process inside, right? That's the most important thing. Then you want to study about person. Let's say now different requirements are there. So when you were asked to do a research, you think I should study about this person. So his behavior, and they are the people very experts, or they are the people in the business, the big giants in the business. I should do a study. I also need to become that kind of person. So then definitely you have to select appropriate strategy approach to study. So narrative is one of the story telling the experience. Now in research philosophy, you get constructivism, the social constructivism, because some of the skills you get when you work in the organization, you get some social interactions, right? Some of the people they have, because when you work in the organization and getting experience, working experience means that's a social interaction. Socially, you are getting those inputs, and that's how you develop, right? Your character after passing out, after completing your graduate, then you want to do a uh, you want to do a you want to engage with the employment. Then the first day you go to your workplace, you don't know what to do. You don't know even you have to have your attendance there, right? You don't know where the attendance book is. So most of the time we use there's a concept called job shadow. Job shadow means you are following someone, and searching where what he is doing now after entering to the gate. Uh, in that organization, you are following him, going behind, and uh, finding what she is doing there, and you can find the route, right? Then you also follow that and find the particular attendance book or your finger marks. Then you meet the relevant person, or something assigned to you. Then first day you don't know anything about the organization. Second day you know something, right? Then 1 year, 2 years, then you will be the most experienced person in that organization. So how you develop? You develop from the society. That's a social constructivism. If you go back with the philosophical approaches, you will see the socially constructed. So those experiences you can get, observe, and if you want to become that type of things, it is somewhat could be a difficult thing, but at least to follow the route, or at least because you will get sort of guideline how he or she did their work, but be careful. You have to get the original stories. Some of the people will give you some sort of some other stories, but because people, they develop the story once they become to that level, right? That's also be there. But as a researcher, you should be able to identify those, whether this is true or false, right? So this kind of questions can come in your as well, right? So if the uh, examiner is good on qualitative, definitely you will get some of the questions, this kind of questions. So how you justify it? Because you are a researcher, you have to do, because you have to justify every single point in your research. Uh, there can be questions how you select this, how you uh, conduct this. Likewise, the questions can be there. So these strategies are somewhat you should know carefully, because the slide knowledge, this knowledge would enough you to select your research, your strategy based on your research. So you should understand about your research, whether it's what's your objective. You want to develop a theory, then you have to select this. You have to study on experience, the social interactives. Then you have to select narratives. Then something happened and now it's not there, coming and going. Then you have to select phenomenology, and you want to study about the uh, group of people, or some cultural issues, then ethnographic. Likewise, uh, a specific problem, a case, then you can select case study. But remember, the case study, most of the time we use different types of case studies are there. You can follow case study method. This is a very common method, and easy method as well. So you can find enough literature, enough publications. The others also, you find different uh, publications, methods, especially the phenomenological research. You get a lot of informations, narratives. You find a lot of informations, different types, and you should first understand those area. First, you select your uh, your area, right? What type of research you going to do, your background, and then accordingly you have to select this. And most of the time your supervisor will help you to select the strategy in your research. So going through the book Creswell and Forth, this can be downloaded, available. There are some ebooks as well. So this is a good one if you want to study more about qualitative. And then there are some other books, Risman, that is Saunders' book is there. That's not only for qualitative. The Creswell is the one good one that you can go through. So again, if you go through this strategy, and now based on the strategy, you should select your analysis, the type of analysis. Content analysis, thematic analysis, discourse analysis, then narrative analysis, phenomenological analysis, ethnography, case study, grounded theory. So those are strategy, but basically this content, thematic, and discourse narratives you can see in some of the papers. Content analysis, you find two types of analysis under content: conceptual analysis and rational analysis in conceptual content analysis. So the thematic is another area we try to develop themes, right? So different types of analysis you get in this, and discourse analysis used in most of the time I have seen the hate speech, the speeches, you see discourse analysis, and narratives you can narrate, right? You select a point and you can narrate. And in this, in the analysis, when you basically you should use this triangulation. Triangulations means you need to justify in most of the time three ways, right? One is the respondents, what respondent says, and then the what literature says, and likewise you need to gather informations, and how you select your themes, their themes. And when you select this, when you conduct your analysis, basically I at the beginning I explained you the literature. From the literature you select your limitations, your boundaries, right? In the boundaries you can select some of the themes, right? So most of the time we use coding systems in the analysis. We select some of the sentence or idea, likewise. And under content analysis you get another method called the word cloud. Word clouds mean the number of words appeared there, as I will show you one example in this. At the first slide, you got that word cloud, this one. This is the word cloud, right? In this, when you use software, you will see the research, qualitative research is the most, the frequency appeared in this. The number of times you find this qualitative research, right? So there is the word cloud. When you use the softwares, you will get different types of methods and different types of paths to analyze. As I explained in this content analysis, basically you get two types: conceptual analysis and rational analysis. In conceptual analysis, you can see the frequency of concepts in a text, words, phrases, likewise. And rational analysis, you can see relationships. Now in quantitative research, we do this relationship finding. So in this also you can see any type of relationships with two variables, two themes. And in coding also you get different types of coding. Now doing literature review, you can find your basic codes there, right? So with that basic codes, I will explain later that what are the main codes and the child codes in this when you do your analysis. And these types are commonly available, and because everything not easy to explain this limited time, but when you do, you need to get the knowledge, you need to read a lot, right? We can guide you because that depends on the way what you want to do, what sort of methods you need to select. And another important thing I should say, when you do the qualitative research, you have to explain all these steps, right? So what sort of strategy you use, what sort of analysis you do, how you select your codes, how you analyze your research and content, how you gather your data, how you conduct your interviews, how you enter, because when while doing the interview, how you enter to the interview, right? Then there are important features, some of the key areas in this. I will explain that in data analysis. Some of the key areas you find, how you select this respondent, and when you select your samples, you have to follow some specific methods. So all these steps you should clearly explain, right? That is why the number of words in qualitative research you find more than the quantitative research. So the word count of your research document will be double most of the time in qualitative. So every step, every action you need to explain clearly. And not only that, the justifications are very crucial in this. So this is about exploratory research. So how you can enter to the exploratory research, how you conduct interview, focus groups, observations, case study research. So all about online research, literature research. Then we can discuss about the qualitative data. So this is another picture of the word cloud. Easily you can get this when you use software. I will explain what are the softwares available to use to organize the data, right? You can do some extent the analysis using the softwares, but it is not like quantitative. Quantitative, you can get everything done from the software, statistical software. But qualitative, you find softwares, but as you want, you will not get the outcome, right? Recently, there's one incident, one organizations, they are doing research in a big scale, and they got to know one software, and they asked me to come and explain it. And they thought that as quantitative, when you feed the data from this side, and you will get the results in the other side, and in quantitative you will interpret your results, you will get the results from the other end, and then you need to interpret, right? But qualitative, that sort of things will not happen. In future there can be, so far I don't see that sort of software. Then they thought that because they were doing qualitative analysis, especially the hate speech and all, in a large scale, and a lot of research in a large scale research. So all the research they conduct is qualitative research, right? Because in that manner, it is not possible to do quantitative research. And most of the analysis pattern, they are looking the patterns and all those things they do. So they thought that the latest software is the one that they can use and where they can reduce their people, because in qualitative research, the researcher's inputs very important, and they thought that part can eliminate using the software, but so far I don't think. But you can organize your data. That's one of the important thing. If not, in earlier versions, we used to do everything using the Excel and all, because Excel still the Excel can be used, but in some of the researchers they use. But the issue here, there is the number of data, and when you want to, because you need to go through the transcript, and you need to see the pattern, and then see how many people have said the same. Likewise, you need to match those transcript, then the developing codes. So that's not possible with Excel. So, and you can't upload the things, the transcript. So that kind of storage not available in Excel. So the best thing, you can get this kind of software, and that will make you easy the things. Then when it comes to sampling, the quota sampling is possible, purposive or judgmental sampling, snowball sampling, convenience sampling, and haphazard sampling. So this is as convenience sampling. So whatever sampling you use, yeah, you need to, when you do a research, you need to have some sort of justifications, but this is not as you in quantitative research, you have many types of sampling, stratified cluster likewise, but this method you don't find that sort, but some sort of justification you should have to select the correct person, right? That is what required, because you are not getting 200, 300 samples here. You are getting only one or two. Let's say not one or two, but more than, it should be more than five as per the book says. More than five, some books says more than six. However, you can get more, but the maximum number where you stop your sample, how you decide the maximum sample is the most important thing, right? So the minimum means you need to justify with one. Sometimes one also possible. Some researchers, they use one and discuss in depth, because that as per their justification. But when you select your sample, you should select the correct person, right? So if you want to study about entrepreneurship, right? So you have to select a particular person, right? Select entrepreneurs. Without entrepreneurs, you can't see. We can't see the behaviors, the patterns, or their career developments. It's not possible, right? You have to correctly focus the relevant person. That is the one here you should give your concern. So there are a justification you need. That's why the judgmental sampling we use. Now, let's say you want to study about environmental, the green aspects, right? You want to study about green aspects, how the organizations are focusing on green concept. So convenience sampling, you can use the very close, the organization find very closer to your house, but that will not organization that they find that they get this green concept. They think on applying green color paint on the wall is the green concept, right? Then your focus go out. So you need to have some sort of filtering process, and at least select, because you have to justify, you have to get valid justification. At least the organization get ISO 14000. You have to have a valid justification. Oh, the organization won green awards. Likewise, this kind of justifications you have to have, then only you will get the real informations. Because the people in that organizations, they are behaving with the green concept, right? This is what we are going to see, the behavior of the people, how people things, how they recruit. Likewise, you can uh, get those information. So as we expect the sample selections, you need to think on those areas and select the particular person with rich information, right? So those particular person should have enough informations. So that's why we use open questions. If you ask one question, sometimes a person will talk about 1 hour, 2 hours. I remember one person, he talked around 4 hours. Only I asked only one question, right? But that's also, you should be able to make the environment. If not, they will not give you the required information, right? Like now you go to meet the person, you have to politely get the appointment and meet the people and respect the people, because all those things are very important, right? You can't say, I'm researcher, you give me answers to these questions, I am very particular about this, I am doing research, this is very important research. They will not give you anything. So first you need to go and have some sort of friendly talk with those people, and that's how you get the relationship, right? In that, those are the secondary opportunities you get in this research, especially qualitative. So the secondary, I remember when I was doing my research, I got a lot of solutions to my organization. I had some problems in my organization. So while having chat with those particular persons, I used to put one or two my problems and see what they have taken, what sort of actions they have taken there. So those secondary opportunities you get as well. And not only that, I have a relationship with those people, and now still the relationships being continued, and the social attraction, because uh, that kind of opportunities as well you get when you do these interviews. So you should be able to get more information, right? And record it. You can ask only a few questions. You will not, this is not the way, because uh, when you develop your questionnaire in quantitative, you develop a lot of questions, around 30, 40 questions. In this, you can develop only 5, 6 questions and focus on your research questions, what you develop there. And because you are going to search uh, answers, you are going to find answers to those questions, right? So let's say you forgot your research questions and you conduct interview. You know the concept. You thought your research is on on entrepreneurships, right? Let's say, and give me 1 second. Yeah, let's say your research is on entrepreneurships or a business person, right? Then you know the concept, and you know that you are going to search some information on relating on this problem, this concept, right? And you can meet relevant person and have a chat and ask you questions. You just because we ask students to have open-ended interviews, open-ended questions, right? So those are not yes/no questions; those are open questions. Like how are you? Then how do you start your business? So that kind of questions. Then they will start from their beginning, right? When the schooling time. Most of the respondents, they like to start from that point, right? Because they are very proud on that, right? So you need to when you find Japanese, how they respect you, and once they respect you, you used to tell everything to him, right? Because you get some sort of you think that they are highly respect, and you are very proud on them. So you used to tell everything to them, and they get everything and going. We get nothing. So this sort of strategy you have to use, especially when collecting data, right? That's one of the area wanted to highlight something. So the relationships, the open questions, and you can have only few questions, but the question should focus on your research questions, right? So you are going to get search answers to that, and can have because while conducting the interviews, you should observe their feelings. Some people they cry, some people they have some very happy mood. So those you need to identify, and once you tell that I'm going to, because you need to tell you are going to record this, then they will be somewhat control manner, right? Once you finish, you have to say I'm going to switch off this. Then after you say more, they will share more information. Those things you need to write and observe the feelings and those important features, facial expressions you should note, and those should comes under field notes. And what you observe, let's say you are going to observe about the 5 years practices of the organization, right? 5 years is one of the objectives. There is management by visualization, right? One of the way of managing the organizations. You are interested in 5 years, and you are going to do a research on this. But when you enter the organization, you see you can't see 5 years practices in the organization. That's only for now. Let's say ISO. ISO also same, right? Some organizations say that they follow ISO, but when you go through as the documents are there, no practices, right? Uh, so you have to observe those and have your notes, those called field notes, and those are important things. So can record audio and video, then all the information facts you are going to use in your analysis, the observation in ethnographic research, and the role of gatekeepers and key informants are very important. There are people, they are guide you, they will guide. There are people you have to get permissions. Let's say the principal of the organization, you need to get permission from the principal, right? Now, in my research, what happened, I wanted to find some particular characteristics, some employees with the particular characteristics. So I don't know how to select that from that organization, because I am not a employee of that organization. I had to ask it someone else, a reliable person, right? So let's say the organizational head, I meet the head and explain the concept to him, and I told I need this kind of people to interview in your organization. Then he, because I need to teach him everything and make him aware about this concept, and then he just figure out some key people, and tell me, yes, you find this, you find this. Likewise, there's a filter, and that's how selected the particular person, the required person. If not, I can go to that organization, give me all the executives, give me all the managers, then I need to conduct interview. That way, because it will waste your time, right? So you have to do, you have to interview all the people, and some of the people will not relevant to the research. So you are wasting your time, your money. So you have to narrow down the respondent and get the correct person. Then these important things are there you to uh, manage when you do your interview process. And I have given the information about the gatekeepers and the study. Yeah, I will now explain about, because we have, we can stop at somewhere in 9:30, 9:45. Probably that can give you chance to ask questions. So yeah, after that, getting all these interviews, you have to convert these recordings into data, the words. This is one of the area where you get some issues with the conversions, because you most of the time conduct interviews in singular, your language, and you have to convert it into English. And some of the software are available, but be careful to use these softwares, because totally the conversion will not get in a proper manner, right? So you have to check everything, and thereby there also can happen some of the mistakes, some of the because you should not allow uh, these kind of things, because these kind of things will get some uh, problems to your findings, right? But you will miss some important concepts with this conversion process. So you are going to develop, you are going to see a pattern of these. So while going through, because the language difference, language also can be a barrier in a way to get the real concept, right? So be careful on that as well. So then develop your transcript. So getting the transcript, you need to see the themes or analysis, right? So with the transcript only, you are going to see the patterns, as we discussed at the inductive process. We observe, now observation already complete, and convert it to transcript. And now we are trying to see pattern out of that transcript. So the codes can developed. This is your research objective, and these the objectives. And now I will explain in this. You can see this is one of the model developed. So these are the questions: what, why, and how, right? Those are used in the model development. But what I need to explain in this is the research objective is in middle. That is the corporate entrepreneurship development. That is the concept that you are going to see. And these codes, the codes, you can get from literature review. So different way you can do this coding, right? You can do coding in grounded theory. It's in a different way, it's not in this way, right? So that depend on the that you select, right? So using your literature review, you can select your priority code, and from that you can find your child codes. So we call different way, we can call main codes, child codes, likewise. So in this way you need to develop your code. This is one approach. And Or you can, in the other way also you can do, you can first collect the codes without any intervention, without selecting prior codes or getting inputs from literature review. You can do just observation, just you can have your themes and develop your codes, and after that can bunch all the codes, and because let's say personal related and environmental related, organizational related, all those things you can put. Now here you can see organizational influences are system oriented, and reward and recognitions, those are related to organization, learning organization, management by objectives. So those are all related to organization. Personal related ones are the proactive planner, then self-evaluator. Likewise, different way you can bunch. You can first select your pattern codes in a different way. Without prior codes, you can find it, you can develop, then later you can bunch it, and then you can develop a model. Or you can use prior code from your literature review, and then you can select the child codes, the posterior codes from that. So that depends on you, right? So the researcher has to decide, and if you find another methods, you can read a lot of methods available, right? So depends on your strategy that you have to remember, basically, because everything should follow a method, a process. So after that, you can have this kind of development, graphical development, because these are the way that we are going to show our process, how we now start from this, then you go to the next this way. This is how we develop the model, final model, right? Then we can develop, you can compress your findings and see the relationships as we discuss under the content analysis, the rational analysis. With the rational analysis, you can see the relationships with the questions what you use there, what, why, and how. Because how, let's say, you are using on your research is on entrepreneurships, so you can ask how you what sort of influence you got, then those are the inputs, influences, right? So in just think on in developing conceptual frame, that's also you can have some sort of idea when you want to develop. So conceptual frame, what we do, we identify the effect and we find the causes. Those are the independent and dependent variable. And this research, we are trying to develop like the input, process, output, that model, right? So the middle, you get the concept. What are the inputs? What are the influences? So in that way, you can develop your model after getting all these related information. Because important thing, your codes, right? So these codes are the most important. Those codes you can develop in a different way, going through the transcript and identify the patterns and see, because in that also you have to, now when you use your software, that will make you easy, right? Now let's say you identify in one transcript, the person is visionary person, right? He will explain when you go through a sentence, he will say, I had a vision, I was very strong on vision, how to approach the vision. So like that way he must be explaining to you. So that's give you some sort of feeling, he is a visionary person, right? So he tried to achieve and he already achieved the vision, right? This is in one transcript you got, but we can't depend on that. You need to see the others also said the same thing, right? How many have said the same thing? Now you go through another one. Now you identify this visionary as a code, and you can create a code using a software, and then you can see other transcript, and all the related sentences you can load into that code, right? That is, then you see three or more than five said this is one of their uh, concept, right? So more than five identified, more than five transcript, you identified this code in their file transcript. So you will take those sentences and load to that code under that, and you get five references to that, right? So those highest ones we have to select. We are not focusing one statement. That is where we call the triangulation. We need to see, because we need to see everyone is giving the same information, right? This is one, and another model. This also published document, one of the research done by one of my students, very recently did. This became as the best paper. So in this way you can develop another model, right? So model developing is one of the art, and you should learn about that. So the ethical consideration, I think we are at the last stage. So how you develop, how you maintain the quality in qualitative research. So credibility, dependability, transferability, then confirmability, ethics, data collection techniques, data analysis, triangulation, and crystallization. So you have to justify with all these things. How you triangulate the data, because you can't depend on one person's statement. You need to at least get more than three persons statements. So you have to show that, and how you analyze the data. You should triangulate data. You can't depend on only from the respondent. You have to get it from, you have to see whether the previous literature also found this concept, right? So what's your view on that? One is respondent view, one is literature view, and what's your view? Your view also you can add to that. So three justifications you find in this, in data analysis. And data collection techniques, how you collect the data. It should be in an ethical manner. You have to follow those protocols in interviews. So ethics, all these areas, the dependability, how you can how the another researcher can use these findings. Can they use your findings? So how the credibility of your findings. So all these factors are important in as the quality factors in research. So here I have given some of the areas. Credibility, how confidence research findings. Transferability, applicable to the other context. Confirmability, neutrality of findings. Dependability, reputability by other researchers. So those are justifications need to use. Here, the ethical area consent, you have to get ethical consent from all the people. When you interview a respondent, you have to get their consent, and you have to say that you are going to use this data, but you should confirm that you are not going to use their names published, and you can't use the organization names, and that's legally also wrong. you need to manage all these things, and field work you have to maintain, then data analysis. Softwares available: Atlas TI6, Hyper Research 2.8, Max QDA. In this, the QSR NVivo is one of the latest, and Atlas IT also, Atlas TI also, you can get some of the free download, but QSR NVivo is not free, no free access, but for a 1 month trial period, you can get this. Yes, that's all about qualitative. This is only a little about qualitative, but when you do research, you should read more, right? This is a 3R system: read, write, research. So read, research, and write. So you have to follow that. I can answer a few questions if there are. Yes, Dr. Priyanta, over to you.
Yeah, okay, then thank you very much. And if I hope that some people will have some questions. If you have any questions, you can ask now from the Dr. Sanath, please. Dr. Dimut, I think you are joining from Sweden. Do you have any questions, or any person from Bangladesh in any language, please? Dr. Sanath, could you please explain about the discourse analysis a little bit more?
Yeah, discourse also used in some of the as well. So you have to follow the same pattern, right? So when you analyze, because first you need to get the transcript, and then you can find the codes, and in that way you have to do. Discourse is some of the speeches. So those speeches you can convert into transcript, and in that, from there onward only, you need to see what sort of analysis pattern you are going to use in this.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that the others are a little bit silent. Okay, so then we will have to wind up this session. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sanath, for sharing your expertise in this area. Any questions from anyone? Anyone, please? Dr. Dimut from Sweden. I think you are very interested in this qualitative research, being a doctor, medical officer. Dr. Buddhini from Vayamba. Okay, right. Okay, Dr. Sanath, thank you very much for sharing your valuable experience in this qualitative research, because I know very well. So there are so many persons who can do the quantitative research, who can teach or who can explain the quantitative, but very few for the qualitative. So as I told you very clearly, this is a very big area. So within the 2 hours or 3 hours time, it is very difficult to give you. But Dr. Sanath tried to give some justification for the area within these 2.5 hours. So thank you very much once again. And the recordings and the PowerPoints will be shared with the participants who are here throughout the session. Somewhere around 100 students were always with us. Even now we have 89. Okay, thank you very much once again. And please stay tuned with us. We'll be conducting some more most important sessions in the future. And next will be the sampling methods, because there are 2 sampling methods, as Dr. Sanath very clearly said. So the probability sampling. So if you are doing a quantitative research, then you have to go for the probability sampling. If you are doing qualitative research, then you have to go for the non-probability sampling. That is something like purposive sampling. So that kind of complete workshop webinar will be done within another 1 or 2 months time maximum. Okay, then thank you very much for everyone who joined and everyone who trusted us. Dr. Sanath, once again, thank you very much for sharing your unique experience.
All the best. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Priyanta and Premier Care as well, and wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.